St. Ed's. For gathering us here. Help us to have the right mind and intentions to praise you and honor you. Help us to come together and honor your name, Lord. Help us to realize this. John 3:15, and it says, anyone who hates a brother or sister is a murderer, and you know that no murderer has eternal life abiding in him. The second verse I have is 1 John 4:20 through 21. Whoever claims to love God yet hates his brother or sister is a liar, for whoever does not love their brother and sister whom they have seen cannot love God whom they have not seen. And he has given this command, anyone who loves God must also love their brother and sister. Now, I chose this verse and this message because not only does it highlight the brotherhood of St. Ed's, but it also shows the intent of Dr. King's message. We live in a world where we are all sinners and nobody is better than one another. These scriptures show that reaching the pearly gates of heaven is an unreachable journey by ourselves. We need help. We need a brother to help us along the journey. Yes, we need Jesus to get into heaven. He's the only way into heaven, but the word literally says that we need a relationship to keep us on that track. The last verse was very inspiring to me specifically because it really puts a question in each of our face, because we often judge each other based off race and skin color, but it kind of puts us in a danger zone because Jesus was also executed for his differences and because he sought the best in the most imperfect people. But the truth is, how can you be far from perfect in a world full of sinners? But who is far from perfect in a world full of sinners? Nobody, because we are all imperfect. It's crazy how many of us think that we can make it through without people that are different from us, come from different backgrounds, and talk different from us. But the truth is, they bleed just like we bleed. And no matter your skin color, it doesn't matter. God crafted us eachly with the purpose and intent for our life. So rejecting somebody because of that reason is like rejecting God himself. And judging people because of their differences is like going in endless circles. You're not getting anywhere. In order to get to God, you must see God's full creation. Next up is Mr. Shaheed.
Good morning. As I came up here, I realized how much of a of a hypocrite I can be because I told all of our presenters to not use their phone for their presentation, and I walked up here with my phone in my hand. But what I want us to do, I want us to kind of just shift our minds, shift this experience as a whole, because it's easy to come in here when we come together as a student body and automatically look at this assembly as Mass. And we know that Mass is an amazing time. It's a very sacred time. But let's just shift our mindset to realize that this is a celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So I want to do a few things just a little different, so you all work with me as we do this. So what I want to do, I want to have I want to start with some affirmations. Raise your hand if you've ever done any form of like affirmation, just affirming yourself. Just raise your hand high. All right, so we have about 12 people, so we're going to do that today. Let me have our seniors stand up. Can we have our seniors stand up? There'll be short affirmations, and what we're going to talk about is how we all are valuable, and we all bring something to this school community. And I'm going to have you all repeat after me just a sentence or two about what you bring to this school community and what you're going to do for this school community. So are you ready, seniors? As a senior here at St. Ed's, I am committed to leading the charge. Have a seat. Thank you. Let's clap it up for our seniors. Let's have our juniors stand up. It feels like there's so many of you all. I remember when you all were freshmen destroying our school. As a junior here at St. Ed's, I'm ready to be a leader. Have a seat. Let's clap it up for our juniors. Let's have our sophomores stand up. As a sophomore here at St. Ed's, I'm committed to being a lifelong learner. Let's clap it up for our sophomores. This commitment is crucial. Let's have our freshmen stand up. It's a lot of it. All right, I love it. We're going to make a declaration here today as freshmen, what we all bring to this school. As a freshman here at St. Ed's, I'm committed to picking up all of the chairs at the end of this assembly. All right, let's hear it, freshmen. All right, have a seat. Let's clap it up for our freshmen. You all actually did get lucky because I found out right before the assembly that you all actually don't have to do that. I just found that out. But on kind of more of a serious note, even though I may have some lighthearted moments, I want to just break the status quo and do some things that may feel a little different, and that's okay, so just please go on this journey with us. But I do want to talk to you all and just give some thank yous. Two people I want to give thank yous to here on the staff are our deans, Mr. Tolley and Mr. Wallenhorst. I just wanted to give a round of applause to Mr. Tolley and Mr. Wallenhorst. And I'm so serious. I'll start with Mr. Wallenhorst. One of the things that Mr. Wallenhorst was committed to in the preparation of this assembly, he wanted you all to understand that this is a different experience. It was really on his heart. He wanted you all to understand, know the importance of this day, come in with a different mindset. Every meeting that we sat in, he wanted to send out emails. He wanted your mind to be different so that this day can be a day that's really respected. So one thing I want us to do so that we can get in a different mindset, just work with me on this, all right, guys? Let's have everybody stand. Let's have everybody stand. The reason we're going to do this, last year, we had some singing, and you all clapped your hands as we sang. And what I will say about that is the way that you all clapped your hands, it was the lack of rhythm was amazing. So we're going to do an exercise right here. We have, I know you all jokes aside, I know you all know him as Larry Harris, but he does DJ around the city, and his DJ name is DJ Spazzin'. So I want to respect his craft because he is an amazing DJ. I want to respect his craft, so if I call him DJ Spazzin', he knows he's Larry Harris once he gets off of this stage, but I want to respect him as the DJ that he is. So what we're going to do, I want you to give us a little something. We're going to do an exercise where we learn how to clap on rhythm. Are you guys with me? All right, give us some, DJ Spazzin'. Just follow my lead, guys. It's easy, I promise. The importance of that is just understanding that we're here, we're having a good time, we're celebrating, we're loosening up. If we want to clap, we want to clap. Clapping is a powerful thing. So if we want to do that, we're going to celebrate. The other person I want to give a thank you to is Mr. Tolley. I want to give a thank you to Mr. Tolley because he has talked to me every step of the way as we prepare for this. A lot of people have come to me and asked if I needed help with this, and I'm grateful for everybody that's come to me and asked if I had help. If I needed help. Mr. Tolley didn't just ask me if I needed help. he would come to me and say, I'm going to help you in this way. And he'd do those very things. And those things allowed me to feel heard, to feel seen, to feel loved, to feel like my voice matters, just as I want you all to feel. Because all jokes aside, sometimes I don't feel that way. Sometimes even right here at St. Ed's, I don't feel that way. I feel lonely. I feel pressure. Before I even came to this school, when I was hired as the dean, my wife, she got text messages and DMs on social media. I don't even know how. She didn't even know these people. And they were from people in the community that were saying, hey, I heard you. And we were engaged. We weren't even married then. They were saying, hey, I heard that your fiance or your boyfriend, that he's going to be the dean at St. Ed's. And they would say, let him know, please don't let us down. Please don't let our people down. I hadn't even set foot in this school. And my fiance, they weren't threatening messages. They were just an expectation. I know now how it happened, and it's no problem. I appreciate it. I got support from a lot of those people who sent those messages, but that was a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure coming here to this school. And even in the staff, I have an amazing, amazing staff of coworkers. But in the midst of almost 100 coworkers, we have 3 African-American staff members. And sometimes you can definitely feel the presence of being a minority. But I'm grateful to have the love that I have from our staff, regardless of their color. There's a quote that Dr. Martin Luther King said that says, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. When I heard that, I thought about something. I thought about something that's near and dear to our hearts. I thought about football. And I thought about our football team. 3 years in a row, we won the state championship with an amazing team. We have I know we have representation from St. Ed's on both teams that's going to be in the bowl game this upcoming week. And that was great. But what I honestly think is great, I don't care what any of you say, what I think is great, because that was a challenge, but that was still kind of, I don't want to say comfort and convenience, because I don't want to minimize anything any goals that you all reach, but we had an amazing team with some star athletes. But challenge and controversy is when your football team loses their star running back. Then you learn how to readjust, and then you lose your star wide receiver. Somewhere in the season there, your defensive lineman is not allowed to play anymore for things beyond his power. But that team didn't win the state championship, but to make it to the Final Four in the state with all odds stacked against you, that's overcoming controversy and challenge. I believe that that's greatness. I don't care about the state championship. I want to give our football team a round of applause right now for overcoming the odds and making it as far as they did. Challenge and controversy. I sat in a room when I first came here, and I was still learning this school, and I sat in a room with a handful of black students that kind of, to me, it just looked like they were shooting the breeze. I didn't know that this was supposed to be the diversity club, and man, I hope they were just kind of in there just talking. Didn't even look like a club to me. I was just pop in there and talk to them because, I knew the guys. And one day I sat and I talked to them, and I wrote the word movement on the board, and I said, one day we're going to start a movement. We're going to start a movement. I didn't know how. I wasn't even in the position to start a movement. I didn't know I was going to be in this role. And the Bible talks about how God uses the most unlikely to do amazing things. One of the most unlikely groups here is the class of 2026. That group, you see them now, but if you saw them their freshman year, I'll put it to you like this. Coming into St. Ed's, I had an afro. The stress that the class of 26 gave me, all of my hair fell out just because of them. But here they are, a lot of our speakers, class of 26, doing this movement, the class of 2026. A lot of you here at St. Ed's are unlikely, just like I'm unlikely. But as the unlikely here at St. Ed's, we'll overcome the struggle and make it through the hope that Dr. Martin Luther King has for us in our lives. So I want you all to hold on to that hope and know that as a unit, we will do amazing things. And once again, I just want to welcome you all to this assembly and this day of celebration. Let's give a round of applause to Aaron Anderson as he comes up to present us with a poem.
And for Dr. Martin Luther King Day, I wrote a poem called The Crown of Rising Suns. Beneath the weight of change once forged, the roots of strength have surged and roared. Through storms of struggle, so fierce and vast, we've carved new paths and left those shadows in the past. These scars like maps tell stories bold of wrists once bound, now turned to gold. Our flame within a phoenix flight turns ash to stars and ignites the night. Our voices, so deep and wide like the rivers, carry dreams that no tides can hide. Mountains bow to the march of time. As we ascend our peaks sublime, the metaphors of flame and stone, we claim the skies, the stars are own. Like excellence, a beacon of light, we transform all dark into light. Thank you. I'll now bring up my friend TJ.
Decide now at this age may well determine. A solid and a sound blueprint. And I want to suggest some of the things that should be in your life's blueprint. Number one, in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own survivance. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance.
Secondly, and your life blueprint must be as the basic principles, the determination to achieve excellence in your various fields of endeavor. You're going to be deciding as the days and as the years unfold what you'll do in life, what your life's work will be. Once you discover what you'll be, set out to do it, and to do it well. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. For it isn't the size to determine if you win or you fail. Be the best at whatever you are. And finally, in your life's blueprint, must be the commitment to the eternal principles of beauty, love, and justice. While for none of us, life has been a crystal stair, we must keep moving. We must keep going. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving.
Good afternoon, St. Ed's. My name is Noah Rashford, class of 26, and this is our version of We Shall Overcome. We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I believe we shall overcome. Although we have tears in our eyes when we discuss our struggles at Men of Hope, we shall overcome. Before we are fully understood, me and my brothers will have to work even harder here at St. Ed's, but we shall overcome. Our goal is to leave a lasting positive legacy at the school. We shall overcome. I know that when the class of 26 first came to Ed's, we were a group of misfits to say the least, but then I knew that we shall overcome. We all walk around with ease on our chests and smiles on our faces, but in reality, all of our people are struggling, but we shall overcome. We shall overcome because the tears we shed show us that we have a place to be heard here at St. Ed's. We shall overcome because we know that we are more than just athletes. We are difference makers. We are leaders. We shall overcome because the class of 26 showed that we wanted to be here and that we wanted to persevere. We shall overcome because despite our struggle as Edsmen, we will walk this journey side by side as brothers. This E on our chest does represent Dr. King's dream because it represents brotherhood, unity, family, and equality. This is why I know we shall overcome.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in our hearts, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
Hello, my name is Samuel Shahid, class of 28, and this is my underclassman reflection. As a black student a year ago, I was nervous of stepping through these doors and having goals. Goals would lead to trying, and trying would lead to failure. But now I can't stop wanting and dreaming of reaching my goals. I want to go overseas, and my job pays for it. I want to get invited to the White House. Athletes know what this means. I want to be important. I want to be the best person I can be. I'm going to define myself and not let others define me. I want to win and have other people be happy for me. I want to lose and grow from it. I want to be confident walking into the unknown. I want to give back to the community, which means I already have it to give. I want to have fun and an interesting life. I don't know if I will get all of this, but I want a fair opportunity to reach it. As a black underclassman, it was difficult walking into the unknown of St. Ed's. At St. Ed's, I didn't know if I belonged with everyone else. Only a few of my friends from my middle school came here. I was well aware that I was in a minority, and this led to a bit of uncertainty. I know it's easy to see me and think that because I'm such a little guy, that I could just blend in. I want to be honest with you all and tell you that I wasn't sure what my experience here would be like as a black student, but the experience I've had with some of you guys made it a lot easier for me to know that I belong here. As a matter of fact, my first experience came over the summer with football, and there we were all one football team. It didn't matter where you came from or what your background was. We were all brothers with one goal. I quickly understood what it feels like to be an Edsman by doing service with the football team, which showed me that we are more than just athletes, but that we are brothers coming together for a cause bigger than any field. Or having the opportunity to work alongside a few upperclassmen to distribute groceries at a senior citizen home. The impact we have as underclassmen and upperclassmen truly give us the opportunity and responsibility to live out Dr. King's dream. I am Samuel Shahid, and I plan on being the face of Dr. King's legacy in St. Ed's, where brotherhood and opportunity is birthed for everyone.
Hello, my name is Darian Lindsay, class of 26. This is the Upperclassman reflection. As we all know, Dr. King was a very philosophical man who really valued many things. Two things in particular he valued were unity and brotherhood. One of the many virtues he wanted to push was without God and the brothers around us, we are all doomed. To me, this means more than what the surface is showing. This to me means that every brother in this building is a crucial piece to the development of this community, even the younger brothers that we unintentionally learn, live, and laugh with. Inspired by Dr. King, I've seen that even though when we don't always agree with these guys, we do still show each other appreciation just from the times of being together. The experiences we share with our underclassmen, just from us once being underclassmen ourselves at one point, always show signs of growth. They will learn from us just as we have learned from our brothers who walked these halls before us. And we know that even when it gets competitive, that it's all love at the end of it all. We know that even when we bump heads, that the admiration we have for each other will override any animosity that the situation holds. When we show respect to the building and teachers, it reflects the brotherhood that we live by. Participating in games, tournaments, and events symbolizes the dedication displayed throughout each class. The only way to go up from here is to first trust God and trust each other to be there whenever we need each other. In Scripture, it states that two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. That's from Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 through 12. Similar to the cord of 3 strands, the relationships we build at our time at St. Ed's won't be easily broken. The memories and experiences will last a lifetime and will be told to further generations. My hope is that we as upperclassmen can share our experiences with the underclassmen so that they too can share those experiences with the future underclassmen, and our legacy will live on through the hallways and classrooms of St. Edward High School. A legacy of brotherhood and unity. And if that legacy lives on here, St. Ed's, then Dr. King's legacy will be further cemented.
Hello, I'm Tyree Morton, class of 26 here at St. Ed's. The MLK Award here at St. Edward High School has represented someone who is active in the community, an individual of integrity, resilient in their faith, and an activist for all people. Year after year, we are honored to give this award to an amazing individual in the community that we believe embodies the vision of Dr. King. We are excited that our recipient this year is so close to our St. Edward community. And as a member of Men of Hope, I promise you, St. Edward High School, that we will continue to handpick individuals that we know care for our school community, just like our recipient today. Now, I would like to call up Mr. Merriman to present the MLK Award.
Up here. Cool. That's all right. Last year I taught juniors for the first time in a while, and on like the first day, one of the first days, I introduced myself, and Will Garland, who's a senior now, but he was a junior, he's like, "Are you related to Bill Merriman?" I said, "That's my dad." I cannot tell you how many times I've had that conversation where I've introduced myself and people say, "Are you related to Bill Merriman?" He's had a big impact. So much though that when people find out my name, they want to say, "Oh my God, do you know Bill Merriman?" When I came back when I got hired to work here at St. Ed's in 2011, I saw Daniel Cavley, someone I knew back in the 80s, for the first time in over 25 years. And he walked up to me and he goes, "Chris Merriman, how are your parents, Bill and Jean?" He wanted to know immediately, you know. The same thing happened with Mr. Wallenhorst's dad, Jim Wallenhorst, a legendary history teacher here at St. Ed's, who knew my parents through St. Malachy's. As soon as I met him, the first thing he asked was about my mom and dad. When Mr. Raffin was a senior, I took him on a retreat into the neighborhood, and we did a retreat that my father planned, and it included him getting to witness my parents' servant leadership to our community. So, I mean, let's just say it's my honor to introduce my dad to you today. After serving in the U.S. Army in Ethiopia, he came to Cleveland, and he's been serving the Near West Side for over 50 years. He's been formally recognized by the city of Cleveland, I don't know, countless times for all of his philanthropic work. There's even a mural of community activists on the side of a church on the West Side. And when they asked my dad to be in it, he said, no, not unless you put my wife, Jean, in there. And as soon as, he insisted on that, the two of them made it to the center. And I think that's significant because my dad will tell you that whatever good he's done has been in partnership with my mom, and that she deserves just as much credit and recognition. My mom and dad raised my brother David and I in the city of Cleveland at a time when you could buy houses for not too much money. You could buy land for like $100 sometimes. At one point, my parents owned they owned 10 residences, but that didn't make us rich. My parents used their property to provide affordable housing to immigrants, the working poor. The Jesuit volunteer community has been hosted by my parents for decades. Community activists, young families, people in recovery, the marginalized, the ostracized, the disenfranchised, found affordable housing in one of the most expensive neighborhoods in Cleveland right now. These people were not our tenants, they were our neighbors. At St. Ed's, in the context of Holy Cross, we like to say that we were with them and of them. My dad worked as a U.S. Postal Service letter carrier. He's a retired mailman. And every day he walked our neighborhood, he was doing more than delivering mail. He was finding ways to take action, to help people in need, whoever they were and whatever they needed. We like to say right here that we hope that we have the competence to see and the courage to act. Every day he had his eyes open. Every day he had his hands and his heart open. I couldn't believe it. As a little kid, I was so struck that the Muslim men in our neighborhood so enjoyed working with my dad when there were opportunities to do charity, to give to charity. My dad would work with his relationships, and these guys would donate money and help to provide for people who needed. My dad personally took action to organize the community to save public parks, green spaces, a public garden, because they were being looked at as opportunities for places to pave them over for parking lots or put up buildings or something like that. And those spaces are still being used and enjoyed today. In fact, when the weather's nicer, you'll see him down at Edgewater on his bike picking up litter on a daily basis. So my dad was ordained a deacon. He just retired from decades of service to St. Pat's on Bridge Avenue. And becoming a deacon only amplified his ministry and service. He feeds the hungry out of St. Pat's ministry, and he actually feeds them like we do at Labra off of his front porch. When I came down to his house to pick him up, he had 25 cases of water inside of his front door to hand out to the thirsty that might come by. I counted them, 25 cases. Weren't there, Ryan? It was crazy. I was like, look at all this water. He is an advocate for the Liberian refugee community here in Cleveland, and he's frequently supports them in social services and hospitals and courts and the schools. He ministers in local nursing homes. I'm like, hey, Dad, where are you? He said, I'm in a nursing home. There's a person here who doesn't have any family, and she's stuck in this bed, and so I'll come by and visit her and spend time with her. He serves at wakes and funerals, frequently for people who've had no one to show up for them, and so he'll be there with people. I remember he went to a nursing home to serve one time, and he recognized that a person was dying by themselves in that moment, so he just knelt down, and he stayed with them as they died. Whoever that person was, their final moment was in his company. My dad works closely with other Christian communities in the neighborhood. He works very closely with St. Paul's Community Church and the Franklin Circle Christian Church. Look, this list could be very long. I don't even know if we have time to list all the ways that my dad has served our neighborhood and the community and the church and the city. But there's one last thing I want to say. At the end of her life, my dad was my mom's caregiver. And his compassion and his selflessness and his courage and his strength and his love and his faithfulness was a sacrament whose grace was there for all of us to see. You could live a holy life and be an ordinary person. Your ordinary life is a sacred enough thing, a sacred enough place for God's grace to shine. Whatever good I've done in my nearly 30 years of teaching theology is rooted and grounded in my dad's example and influence. I've been telling my dad's story as a way of sharing the gospel for my entire career. My brother's decision to become a social worker and dedicate his life to public service is a sign of the influence my dad has had on us and the people that we've ministered to in our own unique ways. My dad's grandkids, Mackenzie, Isabel, Jonathan, Jack, and Ryan, have been so blessed to have such a role model. Like Will, I've had so many countless people tell me what a difference my dad has made in their lives. And so it's with great love that I introduce my dad to you. Dad.
I was advised, keep it short. In fact, we got that message from my wife, Jean. I'd be having a homily once a week, once a month, whatever. And if she was going to be in church, she'd get out her nurse's wristwatch, hold it like this and say, keep it short. Got lunch to get to, right? But good morning and thank you for the privilege of letting me stand here at St. Ed's up on the stage with you, the students, faculty, the staff, the friends of St. Edward's High School. Thank you for being who you are, with one another and for others with your lives, with your gifts, your goodness. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. As we celebrate and commend our lives to the memory and mission of Martin Luther King, we are focused at least once a year, and I appreciate this program and what the school does for you and for the community around you by highlighting this, by reminding us, by directing us, encouraging us, and supporting us to carry that mission into the world around us, to achieve our basic human needs together, not because we're white or rich or whatever, but because we're human. The great unifier, the great leveler of all people is the fact that we're loved by God, one and all, no matter where we are in the social economic scale or the racial scale or the ways people pull people apart. We are one in the love of God. Born on the south side of Chicago, I was a product of a stable Irish Catholic working class family, the kind of a family that was here at the beginning years of St. Ed's High School. I had a good education, but I really started to grow when at an age of 21, I was drafted into the Army just as the war in Vietnam began to really rage. After basic training and a further year stationed in California, I was sent for 2.5 years to a radio communication outpost in Asmara, Eritrea, Ethiopia, and the Horn of Africa. There was a mix of cultures there where the station was located. The core of the city of Asmara, where we were located, had a glamorous Mediterranean-style palm tree-lined boulevard built by Mussolini amid the mosques, the minarets, the sun-soaked markets, and the huge churches and cinemas of Asmara. It was a showcase of a city created amidst the surrounding small farms that were still being worked with plows pulled by oxen as caravans of camels trudged by with rolls of goods on their back. In this countryside, I felt that I was being carried back as in a dream through time, through the years, through the centuries. Yes, there I was in the 60s, but I felt I was somehow living in an experience that was enjoyed by people millennia before. The people were living in a way that was unchanged by technology, by economy, or anything, disrupted by war and famine, but unchanged. This was a culture that was lived not just by the Eritreans, but by ancient people from around the world at some time in human history. And it touched my heart because I was no longer anchored to being who I had been, but maybe a chance of who we are as one people amidst all of the changes and the minutiae that separate us from one another. I was just human like the other people around us, walking down the road, riding their bicycles, plowing their fields. I made many friends among these Eritrean people, traveling through the surrounding countryside by jeep, motorcycle, horseback, and bicycle. I ate their food, drank their beer, sat enraptured by the Wata music, as I became known as Hagos, Mr. Happy Man. Before the arrival of the 68 rainy season, however, I was asked by a group of evangelical Christians, people I tended to mistrust, to help them construct a sturdy bridge to cross a stream that often flooded, forcing the residents to wade through the torrents of dangerous muddy waters, and I was suspicious. I didn't get out there often enough to find myself being suspicious or mistrustworthy. But in fact, I was mistrustworthy. But it was an evangelical group, and I expected that they were interested in recruiting me to their church rather than working on that bridge. It was a failure on my part, a very important failure that marked the rest of my life. Because I declined an invitation and said, no, I can't do it. I made myself poorer, made myself the less. But like St. Paul, it's in our poverty and our brokenness that we find ourselves and we're raised up by the grace of God. Very important time. I suppose if I had helped on that weekend or that week or that month to build a new bridge, I might have forgotten this incident. It wouldn't have changed my life as much as I did experiencing failure at that time. From that occasion on, my sense of regret caused a resolve in my heart to not say no again. I think Chris and David will tell you I have a hard time saying no, even when I can't do it. I resolved that I would think twice before I let such an opportunity slip through my fingers again. I left the Army by 1969, traveled through East Africa and India for half a year, finally settled on the near west side of Cleveland, down by 29th and Detroit. There I met my beloved wife, Jean. We had 2 children together, wonderful boys, Chris and David, and eventually bought one of those cheap, run-down houses from the mid-19th century and fixed it up for the family. The name of the street is Church Avenue. Church, meaning community. At one time, Church Avenue was at the heart of Station Hope and the Underground Railroad. Father Don Dunson appeared one day and asked what we were going to do with this old house and how Jean and I were going to care for it or sell it or do what. As we moved on to another house, we prepared for her needs as a woman suffering from Alzheimer's and cancer. Within a couple months, there was such a rush of bags on the porch, and the doors flew open amidst the freezing winter weather, and a new family of neighbors moved into our old house. 18 Liberian refugees in one family, from babies down to grandparents, seeking a place to recover from the trauma of the Civil War in Liberia, to get a foothold in the American dream of health, safety, adequate food, housing, and education. Within a few years, the Dway family members were studying for their citizenship, working, and they were saving their money to buy a house of their own. And once they did buy a house of their own and moved out, there was a new acquaintance, another inquiry, and now another family, this time from East Africa, moved in. Will knows who they are. Another family moved in to settle down and move forward with their lives. And this family, too, proceeded to achieve the American dream with hard work, a spirit of commitment, and with joy, becoming the friends and neighbors that everyone would be so very proud of. There are countless ways that we can build bridges by the way we live our lives. I hope that this example will encourage you to embrace the opportunities that our lives present with us and for us, and not get discouraged. The day may come when we will be asked to build a bridge for others, in their time of need. I often wondered, back when the DeWay family first arrived, what it would feel like through these people. And I know they answer this question themselves. How will we be received? How will we be received in a culture that is dominated by wealthy white people? How will they accept us? Different skin color, nothing in our wallet, in fact, no wallet most likely. How will they accept us? And I'll tell you this, the truth, that the people I know have told me that they've been warmly received, and they're still our friends forever. That the neighborhoods, the city of Cleveland and Lakewood came up to the charge to be the hands, the hearts, the love of Christ for the people who had had nothing in their lives but vulnerability, pain, suffering, and human dignity that was worth sharing our resources and our lives for. Thank you very much.
This is the award that they've given you. I'm just going to present it to you, and we're going to stand here like this. Thank you, guys.
I'm James Seymour, class of 26. Can we all rise? Despite challenges we may go through at St. Edmund, a change will come.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Flowing just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change will come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know the change won't come. Oh, yes, it will. I go to the movies and I go downtown. And somebody keeps telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know the change will come. Oh, yes, it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me please. But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. Whoa, every time that I thought I could last for long, to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know the change will come. Oh, yes, it will. Oh.
Making good time, guys. We just have about 20 more minutes and we'll be out of here. I'm just joking. I'm just playing. Listen, but also, we're about to close. I do want to thank you all. We just have to do two things. They won't be long. We're actually going to dismiss while we're doing this. One is I walked through the whole program. I'll be honest with you all. Forgive me. I wasn't a student here at St. Edward High School, so as I went through the program, I didn't think about the alma mater, but we do have Esma here who held me accountable and said we have to make sure we do the alma mater before we leave. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do two things. We're going to do the alma mater right now. We don't have the band here. You guys are going to sound angelic. We're going to do the alma mater. Do not leave yet, though. So we're going to do that. Then I'll tell you how we're going to dismiss. So you all go on ahead. Get that finger in the air that I'm not allowed to point. Let's hear you guys sound angelic and sing your alma mater. Wasn't bad. Let me stop sleeping on you all. All right, so this is how we are going to dismiss. The first time I put my hand up, that'll be time for the seniors to dismiss. When I do 2, that'll be the juniors. 3 sophomores, 4 freshmen. As we leave,